to patch these areas. As we see the Premier League table there, Mount Pleasant, of course, on top of Waterhouse, Dunbeholden and Arnett Gardens. That's it, third versus fourth, and a chance for Dunbeholden to take second position with 3 points here today. So a keen battle this for ascendancy in terms of playoff spots. But as we said, yes, this turf will be something that they'll really have to deal with here at Draxall. And the ground staff, I must say, George, have been busy. As I said, there are lots of patches all around to secure those hold areas that you mentioned, just to make sure that no added injuries happen to these players. An injury list which I would say from last season has been an increased list based on the unusualness of the turf for a lot of these players.
So here we go. I haven't seen this guy in a long time. We can call him the mascot of the Arnett Gardens team. There he is in front of Romeo Guthrie, the only man in the Arnett camp who's shorter than Romeo Guthrie. But it's good to see him. I haven't seen him in a while. And of course, the football has been back in the community before this round, so you wouldn't have seen this ever present in the Arnett Gardens team. The players are making their way out, led by that man. Familiar face to all of those who know and love Arnett Gardens football and Premier League football by extension. And yeah, it's the first taste of grass for 2 seasons, a season and a bit in the Premier League for these two teams. It's been pretty much artificial turf for the entirety of the campaign before now. So Dunbeholden from St. Catherine in the blue, and Arnett Gardens from St. Andrew in the red and black in their traditional colours. And let's hear what the referee says to the players. Alexi Perry.
Big up, Jenna. All the way. So we have CONCACAF, we have Savvy, yeah? Arnett, man, you call. CONCACAF or Savvy? CONCACAF, Savvy. That's how they're going to win it. That means that you're football, yeah? Enjoy your game. Enjoy your game.
So, referee Alexi Perry getting through the formalities early. So let's go to the starting 11 now. Dunbeholden, Damien Hyatt, Shaquille Dyer, Sean Duaro, Sean Taylor, Romari McPherson, Zelana Barnes gets a start this afternoon, Demario Phillips, Fabian McCarthy, Dwayne Smith, Nicoy Christian, and Dean Andre Thomas for coach Harold Thomas.
And they'll be playing with a 4-2-3-1. And yeah, no Atafaroy Bygrave. Big miss that for Dunbeholden up front, but they'll try to. And as I say, Zelana Barnes with his pace and left-footed ability will come into that lineup.
Then we're going to turn to the Arnett Gardens 11 right now and look at Maximus Davis in goal, Earl Simpson, Ezran Simpson, so the Simpsons at centre half, Janoy Cunningham, Shandy James, Marlon Martin, Ajuma Johnson, Romeo Guthrie, Kimani Arbonne, Ronaldo Cephas and Steve Clark.
4-3-3 for them. Shandy James comes in, and as I said, Ronaldo Cephas, look out for him. Certainly the most pacey team in this Premier League that we've seen so far this season, and exciting going forward. Let's see if they have worked out their defensive woes.
Right, so the Dunbeholden bench, I can tell you, rather thin. Only 5 players named, including 1 goalkeeper. So 4 outfield players on the Dunbeholden bench and 1 goalkeeper. I asked our floor manager to check, and she said, well, George, they simply said administrative issues. Anyway, we're underway here at the Draxall complex, and Romeo Guthrie went along with the early pass, the first pass, trying to pick out Ronaldo Cephas, but it was seen out with no fuss by Rashawn Taylor for Dunbeholden. Damien Hyatt getting some early assistance, maybe with a necklace or something. Couldn't be that. Yes, it was a necklace. His captain relieving him of that piece of that bit of jewelry, and we'll give it to a trusty ball boy for safekeeping. So there's Hyatt, as we told you, 1-2 Premier League titles with Arnett Gardens. Saw him at his just in front of his community, waiting on waiting on transport the other morning, and I asked him how he felt. I was caught in the traffic, Chris, and he says, yeah, he's coming for the 3 points today. I said, well, good luck, and I really meant it. Want to see Dunbeholden continue playing well. The first infringement of the game goes against Dunbeholden over on that far side. And Ajuma Johnson was running across to take it. This is the Dunbeholden bench, a rather Spartan bench, as we see Harold Thomas in the pair of glasses and the grey shirt.
Ricardo Smith beside him, the assistant coach.
Oh, the first chance going to Kimani Arboin. What a free header in the box. And you felt he had to do better with that one.
Yeah, not as clinical. That's a flaw in Arboin's game, must be said. Not as clinical as they would want him. Certainly can't fault him for his work rate. So I expect to see a real increased work rate in this Arnett Gardens team, especially going forward. Runs the lines very well. It's a bit of a surprise that Marlon Allen misses out the 3-goal hero for them so far. 3 goals in 2 games. And I wonder if he picked up maybe a niggling injury, and that's why he's out, because I can't see him being left on the bench otherwise.
Yeah, a bit surprised to see the hot striker for Arnett having to make do with the bench for now. Arboin beat McCarthy to it. Looks to send the speedy Steve Clark. He's quick. Can he get there before the line? No. The line doesn't move, but the ball is moving fast towards the line. And the ex-Donald Quarry High School man couldn't reel it in. Steve Clark, 26 years old. There's the Arnett Gardens bench. Tika Davis in the sunglasses, and beside him Eric Rademacher, the assistant who marshaled the team so well over the first few rounds. Arnett Gardens. They just look as if they have another gear they can engage if needed, if they need to. This young team. Tika Davis, you feel satisfied with the quality of resources at his disposal this campaign.
3 victories in 6 matches for Arnett Gardens. 2 draws and just 1 loss, and they've certainly been going from strength to strength. As I said, probably the most exciting team going forward. And today, some forced changes at the back. That will be interesting to see, because they've not managed to keep clean sheets.
Yeah,
Arnett Gardens.
Good point. That Gerald Neal, the usual centre half, out because of a red card. Slowly, their usual right back out as well. Arboin on the chest. Shandy James. He felt that Dewar blocked it with his arm. The referee Perry didn't buy into that, and Dunbeholden can build. McCarthy goes long. Picks out Taylor. Forward to Barnes. The ex-Arnett Gardens winger playing against his former team, number 7. Looked a bit chunky when I saw him in the first game this season, but I think he's trimmed down. Zalana Barnes.
Still chunky.
Yeah. but the point is he was chunkier in the opening opening week I saw him. But he's trimming down, which is, you notice I didn't say he's slim. I said he's trimming down. It's a process. Match ready. There you go. Here's Phillips. Has been excellent for Dunbeholden. Whips this in one into the back post, and it's met by Cunningham, who taller than DeAndre Thomas, and was able to hit it behind. It's a corner kick to Dunbeholden. Nicole Christian, their irascible playmaker, goes across. Folks, he's on the Premier League level. He's one of the outstanding midfielders, the man wearing number 23 for Dunbeholden. Make no mistake about that. But he doesn't suffer fools gladly. Whips in this early corner, takes a bounce and cleared by Arboin. Not the best corner kick, but the defending from Arboin good enough. Dyer looks to find Christian with a pinged pass. Does well to find him. Excellent first touch by Christian. And he whips across in. It's dangerous. Andre Thomas gets there, but so too did the keeper, Maximus Davis. And the bounce just beat Andre Thomas's leap. And it made it simpler for the Arnett Gardens goalkeeper to punch away. McCarthy's first touch got him into trouble, but his second touch got him out. This is McPherson at left back. Has been an ever-present in that position for Dunbeholden. Zalanda Barnes beat Ezra and Simpson to that, but Simpson caught by Zalanda Barnes' head, and the medics have early work to do for Arnett Gardens.
So why was it a foul? Let's see. Barnes, but can't be a foul. Head collision, but there was an attack on goal, so I'm not sure. I mean, I would think you'd have to allow that attack to finish.
Well, you know, I'm agreeing with you, but the referees have been keyed in to call a halt to proceedings immediately when there's a head issue. So I can agree with the stoppage of play, but to award Arnett Gardens a free kick, that's where I'm not agreeing. Because I didn't see a foul there.
No, there's no foul. Two players challenging for the ball. Zalanda Barnes did nothing wrong in terms of going with his head. I found that strange. And Thomas had an opportunity to run onto goal. So Strange call, anyhow.
Yep.
I think Barnes was asking the same question. He said,
Yep.
well, what did I do wrong? All I did was head on the ball. It was a good head on as well.
Yep. You wouldn't believe if I told you what happened just now. There was a mobile phone on the pitch that Ajuma Johnson at left back took off the pitch and threw it to someone on the bench. So I'm wondering if it fell from someone on the pitch and they didn't see it, and in running he saw it. But that's the only explanation. I've never seen that before in my life, whether on TV watching football or working on a football game.
Hence, you will never forget today.
No, sir. And I'm sure my director will find it back for us. Anyway, Ajuma Johnson plays the ball to Arboyne. First touch, not good. Robbed by Duar. Trying to play DeAndre Thomas in. For 3. Touched it away from Barnes, and Duar is able to play Damien Hyatt in. Its clearance isn't good, but Phillips, the vital interception with Shandy James lurking. And I can tell you, Paul Davis is chewing out his players down below us. That's where the Arnett Gardens bench below or coming to position. Very unhappy with how they've started the game. Anyway, here's Arboyne on a run. He can gather and look for a pass. Come on, Arboyne. Johnson to Cephas. Never in control of the dribble, and he's robbed by Taylor. McCarthy to Christian. They're saying he used his arm, and then he was fouled by Earl Simpson, says Alexi Perry, the referee. That's the Arnett bench, taking shade, because we can tell you the sun is ripe here at the venue. DeAndre Thomas trying to find Barnes with a clever layoff. This is Nicoy Christian looking for help. Goes wide to McPherson. Needs a good cross from him. He checks in. Poor pass in the end, and a poor clearance by Earl Simpson, who's being barracked by their coaches on his bench, led by his head coach, for his lackadaisical start to this game. Here's Barnes. Wide to Dwayne Smith. Dwayne Smith puts a cross in, and a mix-up in the Arnett defense. A lot of Barnes, it's cleared off the line by Earl Simpson. What a vital block by the Arnett Guards, number 4, and Barnes can't believe he didn't find the back of the net.
Dunbeholden certainly looking more threatening, coming forward in the early exchanges. The substitute Zelano Barnes, former St. George's hero, played overseas for quite a while. George was just saying how a lot more agile he looked in body and movement, and it wasn't an easy finish because of the bounce, but he did very well, and so did Simpson. I don't think Barnes could have done much more than what he did.
Nope. Cephas did very well to keep that. The through ball was on, but Duar's forehead was a barrier that Cephas's pass couldn't beat. Kimani Arboyne has done good work for Arnett Gardens on the defensive end so far. 2 headed clearances from corner kicks. So the striker helping his team at both ends.
Yeah, very talented left foot too. Zelano Barnes, a man who played in Spain for a while. Went for a few tryouts, played in Canada as well. Zelano Barnes trying to make his name. Neither worked out, and back into Jamaica.
Duar out to Taylor. Good first touch this time. Barnes. Told to leave it by Phillips. Outside to Taylor. Taylor's pass for DeAndre Thomas. Did well to get a knee to it to control. Very good. Now Phillips. Barnes back to Phillips. Nice shift by Phillips. Switching of feet. Runs into Marlon Allen, and the referee says free kick. The Arnett Gardens bench disagreeing. Marlon Martin, number 15, blocking his power. And red and black wall in the path of Phillips heading into the 18-yard box.
And the arm across by Martin, just preventing his movement. Kind of bailed Phillips out of it, because Phillips' second touch there was a little heavy. He wouldn't have been able to get it back, but yeah, positioned himself well.
McCarthy and Christian, the usual suspects, taking charge of this free kick for Dunbeholden. Christian pins it towards the back post. It's curling all the time, but it was too long. And disappointing from Dunbeholden's midfield maestro, at least one of the two. So again, the Arnett Gardens bench talking to Earl Simpson, telling him to look lively, to move lively. They're disappointed by his sedate start to the game. They want him to get up to match pace. Lovely touch by McPherson to Shandy James in midfield for Arnett. Will go wide to Cunningham. Wider still to Steve Clark, but McPherson got there before him. The ball runs free to Duar. He blasted off his teammate, well, the Arnett Gardens winger, and it's a Dunbeholden throw. That's Ricardo Smith, the assistant to Harold Thomas, who's barking out the instructions for now.
Still don't think that the long ball is a Dunbeholden way. They like to go through McCarthy, who sets the tempo, and then get it through Christian as well. That spine, that, as you said, dynamic duo in the middle of the park. The long ball strategy, not necessarily their forte. And every time they have looked to play that kind of play, it has been easy for Arnett Gardens.
Yeah.
Of course, no Bygrave as well, who is that physical presence up front as a point man that you could probably play the ball one time to and he could hold it up. So much more integral for them to get the midfield working.
Barnes trying to find Dean Andre Thomas. Two Simpsons as well. At least Cunningham and Ezra and Simpson went up for that and won it. This is Dean Andre Thomas. Across with the left foot. Zelana Barnes is blocked. Another vital block for Arnett Gardens. Dunbeholden asking questions. Knocking at the door. This is McCarthy. Oh, the bounce, the bad bounce caused him to fluff that pass.
And this is the adjustment that the teams will have to make, especially for a player like Cephas, who is a dribbler. You see him on the ball now. It's much more difficult on this kind of bumpy surface than the AstroTurf, where everything is smooth, and you know that. For a silky smooth player like McCarthy as well, who likes to play those one-time passes, it will be a readjustment.
Cephas very deep to get involved. He finds Arbonne. Good first touch under pressure. Bundled off it by the Dunbeholden players. A tag team effort, no foul. This is Barnes. Into space for Dean Andre Thomas. Ezra and Sims runs across to block his path to the goalkeeper and to the goal. Oh, it's loose, but for the moment, Maximus Davis gathers. Arnett Gardens is #1, has taken away the game of William Price, who began the season. There were a couple of goals, and even on commentary we said it that a little bit soft. And the coaching staff deciding that Price must cool his heels on the bench, and they've given Maximus Davis his chance. Lovely flick by Cephas into the path of Johnson. Checks inside. Back to Cephas. Gets away from Duar. McPherson comes across from left back to thwart his progress. McCarthy back to Duar. Has some time. Hunted down now by Kimani Arbonne. Smith trying to flick it to McPherson. Wasn't on. Shandy James into the path of, well, that pass was aimed for Ronaldo Cephas, but Shaquille Dyer, the skipper, right on point to turn it behind for a corner. Arnett Gardens' first real moment of danger that they created, snuffed out at the vital moment by the Dunbeholden skipper. Ajuma Johnson takes charge of this corner kick. To the near post, it's met by McCarthy. Steve Clark lets it run for a throw. Early throw to Ajuma Johnson. It's another corner, that one off Dwayne Smith.
Love to see when Ajuma Johnson is in advanced positions because he does have that ability. He's adjusted well as a left back, but his quality in terms of going forward, that talented left boot, can cause a lot of problems. Skillful as well.
Here's Clark. Shandy James went in for the header, but McCarthy challenged him. Clark has another opportunity on a short corner, cleared by Shaquille Dyer. And now it's Dean Andre Thomas versus Marlon Martin. And Martin, oh, lovely tackle by Marlon Martin. Excellent tackle by the midfielder to rob Thomas, but then his pass is poor into the back of Demario Phillips. And now Thomas gets another chance for Dunbeholden. Told by the Dunbeholden bench that he should have played it off rather than try to dribble. Guthrie's pass to Cephas is poor. Juma Johnson wins it back for Arnett though. Guthrie's pass to Shandy James, an unorthodox flick, but it works out. It finds Steve Clark in space. Got two men hounding him now. And the pass is poor. He was looking for Arboin, who was nowhere there. Smith around Janoy Cunningham, but he lost his footing as he went to dribble. And Ezra and Simpson forward. And the ball was played into touch. The Arnett Gardens bench. You can hear the groans from them from this point at that misplaced pass. So yeah, the field has had to undergo running repairs. I've always doubted whether this field could take 6 games of high intensity in over 3 consecutive days, and that's the sand, evidence of sand being used to patch the holes created in it. And because of the rain we had on Saturday and the heavy play, the heavy use of the field, those holes needed filling so that the games today could go ahead relatively comfortably.
But as you mentioned, because of the rain, still ridges. So what happens is the field hasn't been able to have been rolled, and that's part of the reason that mashes up the smooth, the silky surface. So as I said, yes, with all the rain and then the ridges that are caused, you just need some smoothing out. You need the field to be rolled properly. So yeah, the sand is good in terms of filling the holes, but then
Taylor fires this one in, and it's headed away by Janoy Cunningham. Clark sends it further away. You know, the fact of the matter is we had an extensive discussion about this on Saturday, Dwight, Jeremiah and myself, and I maintain that the best place to play football in Jamaica at the Premier League level is at the UWIJF Captain Horsburgh Centre of Excellence. I know that it is needful for the football to go to the community because that's where the interest is sparked. Tell you more about that. Barnes can't get around Cunningham. But those who administer these grounds have to ensure that the surface is of the standard enough for games to look good on TV, and more importantly for the players to enjoy the underfoot conditions. Those things are paramount, and you can't be haranguing the officials and the authorities to give you games at your home field if the field isn't good enough. I'm sorry, and I'm unrepentant about it. In many respects, what we've seen over the first 6 match weeks at the JFF Centre, UWI JFF Centre, and to what we are anticipating at some of the home grounds, it's almost as if you're going back in the past. And I don't want that aspect of the football to go back in the past as we look at, as the man Kimoni Bailey, the dreadlocks, and Atafaroy Bygrave nearest to the camera, 2 of the Dunbeholden substitutes. Cunningham with a shot from distance. It needs Shandy James. Shaquille Dyer beats him to the header. They want the foul on it, Garns, but they won't get that there. Meanwhile, Duar under pressure from Arboin turns. Oh, he didn't have the room to take the free kick that he needed being the Lexi period. That's why he gave the free kick to Dunbeholden. Well, yeah, some referees would probably book some players, but it depends on if there's lip involved in the infringement. You commit the infringement and then you start talking to the referee. They may book you, but usually it's a harmless offense. So we're into the 21st minute. Real hot conditions here at the Drax Hall Sports Complex for this game. The penultimate game in match week 7. Arnett Gardens and Dunbeholden, 5-time champions versus a St. Catherine team that have never been anywhere close to winning this competition. Dunbeholden with 52% of the possession. No surprise, given the way that they started this game. Guthrie shoving McCarthy, and McCarthy just saying, you know what, let's give peace a chance. I won't retaliate. And referee Perry sends the players to the sideline for the first water break of the afternoon. The water break sponsored by 876 Spring Water. And we pause for a cause in this Premier League game. So based on what you've seen so far, Chris, what do you like, what do you not like?
Well, the surface has been a struggle, and as I said, because it's the team's first opportunity to play on this surface, it's obviously the adjustment has not been so easy. But Dunbeholden is certainly looking the better team going forward, especially when they utilize the midfield of McCarthy and Christian, and now with Barnes and Phillips involved. Certainly when they get those short passes, they look dangerous getting in and around the 18-yard box. I don't think Arnett Gardens have been able to get it right just yet. And as I said, their main dribblers of Clark and Cephas, especially in the wing areas, haven't had much joy, partially because they don't have that silky smooth surface to dribble on. So the bounce has been a problem. But yeah, Dunbeholden, who the last time there was a victory in this fixture, it came in 2019, which was a 3-0 win for Dunbeholden. And they have looked more likely to get the first goal.
This is what I was talking about earlier. So look at Juma Johnson. That object that he tosses to the sidelines, it was caught by Allen, I think. That was a mobile phone. And I'm wondering, where did Juma Johnson... Look at his right hand. Look at this. Where... If anybody has ever seen anything like this, that's actually Ronaldo Wright. Yeah, Ronaldo Wright. If anybody has seen anything like this in the history of football, call us at SportsMax and tell us. Chris, when you go down there for the interviews post-game, you must find a Juma Johnson and ask him, so where did you get that phone from? The 876 Spring Water break is over. Unique Jamaican 876 Spring Water is. And they're sponsoring the water breaks in the JPL this season. Chris, we've done games already where we've seen goals scored coming out of water breaks. Let's see if we get one today. We could do with one right now, I can tell you.
Especially if you want to help your average.
You know that's the only reason I'm talking. Cunningham clears the ball only to Phillips, and then Shandy James defending well, but he may have hurt his groin or his... Yeah, well, that's self-evident, eh? Picked up a knock in a vulnerable place.
Former winner at with Clarendon College at the Costa Cup level, Shandy James, schoolboy level. Hasn't been a regular starter in this team, has gotten a few minutes here and there for that man.
I tell you what, Chris, this is what happened. Well, he's turning away now. I tell you what, a measure of how dissatisfied Paul Teagat Davis is with how his team have started the game. We're in the 26th minute. He's warming up 3 substitutes already. Damari Deacon is warming up. So too is Luca Kong and Shamar Booth. So 3 men already going through their paces because Davis wants to send a message that you're mucking about, men. Ball fired in, and Maximus Davis claims comfortably.
Kong just coming into the squad list. He's been out for quite a while. Deacon was an original start and then lost his place, a bit of indiscipline as much as other things, and hasn't seen much. And he was actually, to me...
Mix up in the back, Ezra Simpson, under pressure from Dwayne Smith. And he got out of jail there, the dreadlocks. Cunningham, forward to Arbonne, went for the flick. The ball worked out for him. Now Steve Clark is in business, but nobody in the box just yet. Clark waits, working on McPherson, fires the cross across the face of goal. Can Shandy James get there? He's making heavy weather off the chase, keeps it in. And now to Cephas. On the right foot, goes for the shot, is blocked by Duar, cleared further by Taylor. They've been on Earl Simpson's case all game, and they were there on that play again. Juma Johnson gets around 2 men, impressive, but he's deemed to have fouled Zelana Barnes. Meanwhile, Shandy James is still holding that sensitive area. May have been a groin injury that he picked up, and Chris Taylor says substitution. Looks that way.
Yeah, I think that's it for James.
How unfortunate.
Especially based on the sprint, he looked very awkward running for the ball, and yeah, the groin won't get any better on the field. I don't think no matter what they give him that is going to last.
Yeah, Alexi Perry has just signaled the need for the stretcher.
Won't be surprised if it's Kong who is called upon. Luca.
He's taken off his training top, so it looks as if Luca Kong is going to come into the game.
Unfortunate for James, considering this is what his first start of the season.
That's why I said unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. He's come on in a couple of the games.
Yeah, Kong is going to come to replace him, Chris. You called that right. So the number 19, man wearing number 19, is going to come in for the ill-fated Shandy James. He's waited a while to get a start. Got the start this evening, and got injured within the first 25 minutes.
Andrew Hayden doing a double role here in this first game. He's playing a real schizophrenic role there.
McCarthy robbed by Arboyne. Very good from Kimani Arboyne to withstand the pressure as McCarthy tried to win the ball back. McPherson, well, Guthrie trying to take the ball with him. Number 11, Sandy James, replaced by number 19, Dean Andre Thomas battling with Ezran Simpson. Needs help, but he gives it away to Marlon Martin rather. Into the midfield for Kong, his first touch.
We're so used to seeing Allen on the field.
Yeah, stripped by Phillips. Goes again to Mario Phillips. Luca Kong tackles him and took some ankle along with the ball, says referee Perry.
The funny thing about it, Josh, I know Arboyne is the one who was coming for Allen, but for me, it's Clark who has struggled. I think more on the right-hand side. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually what happens is Arboyne goes to the right and Allen comes into that central role. But as I said, he was obviously out. Must have been an injury, because the way he has played, he could never have lost his place.
Yeah, and you know very well too, sometimes a player looks listless at training, especially the session before the game, and the coach says maybe he's not quite right. So that happens from time to time as well. McPherson to Christian. Schema in chief. This is McCarthy. Wide to Taylor. What can Rashawn Taylor do? Crosses with the left foot, looking for Dean Andre Thomas. It finds him. Dean Andre Thomas in the box. A shot! Into the grateful arms of Maximus Davis. Dunbeholden bearing their fangs yet again. So here's the replay. Good first touch. And the snapshot on the turn. Cephas fouled by Taylor. And made sure the referee knew that he was impeded. Johnson to Guthrie. Hunted down by Phillips. Did well under pressure. Johnson to Luca Kong in the midfield. He's an imposing figure, Luca Kong. Man with presence. Dyer beat Arboyne to it. And now Phillips once again. Forward, he's trying to pick Dean Andre Thomas out. Cunningham is there for Arnett Gardens. Plays it off Dwayne Smith for a throw to the South St. Andrew-based team.
I'm not really a fan of the long ball for Dunbeholden, which is what Phillips was trying, especially with Thomas and not Bygrave up front. I don't think that works well for them. I think the shorter passes with quick movement is really the Dunbeholden style, and one that they've had a lot of joy out from.
Phillips in midfield, excellent first touch. Had the speed to get back to it. Kong hunted him down and robbed him off the ball. Arnett Gardens going forward now, and they have men with the ball. This is Johnson. Oh, he can't beat Taylor. Very good defending, and Kong still driving forward. Luca Kong goes for the shot under pressure. And Juma Johnson just apologizing to Ronaldo Cephas for failing to find him with the pass just now. That was cut out by Taylor. For a moment there, you felt Arnett Gardens were off and running. This is Phillips, and look at Kong's tackle. Long leg, just reaching around and snapping that ball away.
As you said, imposing figure. Tall, good body size to him as well. It would be hard to take the ball off of him. Much bigger than Shandy James, who he replaced.
Yep. Guthrie, under pressure from Christian. The young man does well, the Arnett Gardens skipper. Back to Cunningham.
Phillips has actually had a good game in the middle of the park so far, very speedy.
I've not seen him had a bad game for Dunbeholden so far this campaign. A couple of times he's been, in fact, he has 2 Man of the Match awards from my memory so far in this campaign. Earl Simpson now, forward looking for Cephas, but Taylor wins that header comfortably.
Believe it or not, he's actually playing in that. They're playing 4-2-3-1, Dunbeholden, and he's playing one of the two.
Yep.
Himself and McCarthy. But he loves to get forward, Phillips. Unlike McCarthy, who is very willing to just sit, even though he has that vision and a passing ability, whereas Phillips likes to push. And I think he's not happy with his link-up play with Barnes so far. Barnes needs to get more involved. And this is a question mark we'll have. Does Barnes have the match fitness? Yes, he's trimmed a bit.
I don't expect him to last the course, I can tell you that, yeah.
And so that is something that will remain to be seen.
But today, given that they're short of substitutes, he may be forced to dig in and give his team the 90. Phillips inside to Dean Andre Thomas. Strong play from him. This is Nicoy Christian. He goes for the shot. His first touch wasn't the best, and it lifted on him the ball, and then he just decided to just try his luck from distance. This is Earl Simpson. To Juma Johnson, who's seen a lot of the ball for Arnett Gardens. Guthrie to Kung. Robbed by Nicoy Christian. McCarthy back to Phillips. Into space for Christian. Earl Simpson gets there. Goodbye Earl Simpson this time. Wide to Cephas. He does find him this time. Can Cephas go for a run? Yes. He's testing Taylor. Being encouraged to go by the Arnett Gardens defense. He crosses it. It's blocked by Duar, and it's a corner for Arnett Gardens. This coach, as we look again at the Dunbeholden bench, they're short-handed over there. Only 5 outfield players, including 5 players, including a goalkeeper. And so you know they're very, very short of available bodies. Juma Johnson takes the short corner, puts the cross in. It's met by Taylor. Defensive clearance. Ezra Simpson, what can he do? Can't dribble around Dyer, and it's in fact a Dunbeholden throw over on that far side.
I thought slowly but surely Arnett Gardens coming into it a little bit more. Passes coming forward here, nothing really inside the 18-yard box, but in terms of how they have possessed the ball a little bit better, Juma Johnson able to press a little bit higher and give those passes, but we haven't seen enough of those runs from Cephas and Clark, which is their strength on Arnett Gardens in the wing areas.
Well, we're in the 35th minute. Cephas has really had only one direct run at the defenders, only one. Every other game he's played this season, he would have run the defender several times already. But he's second guessing himself because he knows that it's not a smooth dribble on this surface. Phillips all the way back in defense to collect. He swings a pass out to Taylor. Can he bring this down? Shades his eyes with his hands. Oh, it's a bad first touch from Taylor. Gives it away to Cephas. Forward to Guthrie. Duar got there, but Luca Kung over the top to Arboin, who's offside.
That was an easy call.
Christian going the wrong way, turns away from Marlon Martin though. Martin snaps back. He's done very well, Marlon Martin. A couple of times he's lost out, but then his recovery tackling has been brilliant. This is the captain, Guthrie, wide to Ajuma Johnson. Zelana Barnes tracking him. Loses out that time. Barnes. Dribbling away from Johnson. Good battle this between these two. And he goes down Zelana Barnes rather cleverly. Had perhaps hit his limit, had run out of gas, and just got himself between Ajuma Johnson on the ball. Knew that Johnson would have to get around him, and as the first contact, he just went down. Clever. Smith to Thomas. Back to Dwayne Smith! Applauded by the Dunbeholden bench, but it hit a man behind the goal who has a sign up. It says Marlon Allen, number 30 AG. So, Mr. Director, can you catch that, Fanny? Yes, sir. Very good job. That's Marlon Allen's biggest fan, Chris Taylor. His fan club is growing. Every fan club starts with one.
I can understand why.
Yes, sir.
Dwayne Smith with a strike. I want to tell you.
Look at this. It's a perfect hit.
The last time these two teams met in 2021. It ended 1-1. Dwayne Smith was the goal scorer for Dunbeholden in that match.
Yep.
They're number 6. And he's had 2 look-ins so far in the first 36 minutes.
I mean, as much as I've been critical of the surface, I mean, obviously there are obvious benefits to the community getting the football, because things like those you don't see at the usual place. This is Arbonne. The first touch wasn't Chris Kong following up on the half volley, and he gets the applause from the Arnett Gardens bench saying good effort. Cephas, though disgusted with him, felt he should have passed to him wide on the left.
That's exactly what a regular striker would say. Could see why he went for it though. Well off in the end. He's been a presence in the middle of the park since coming on though. Kong.
You figure he's about 6'2" thereabouts, or taller than that?
Yeah, I think 6'2". I don't think much taller than that.
Maybe his hair makes him look a little bit bigger.
Yes, he's probably 6'3" with the hair.
Here's McCarthy. To Barnes, trying to flick outside to Taylor. Didn't make good connection though. Earl Simpson to the tall man, imposing figure of Kong. Back to Johnson. To Simpson. They're being told to relax in possession by their coach. Martin to Earl Simpson, or Ezran Simpson, who's closed down. Johnson, no, the pass was too hard for him, and Johnson wasn't expecting that to be hit with such force. Went through his legs outside for a throw. Dean Andre Thomas between 2 Arnett Gardens players around Earl Simpson, around another challenge. Dean Andre Thomas leads it off for Nicole Christian, and Ezran Simpson got there critically. And now Kong. Ball ran away from him. This is Steve Clark. Deep. Can't find a pass forward. Arnett Gardens just struggling to get out of their defensive sector now. Christian deemed to have fouled Ezran Simpson, and that's the call made by referee Alexi Perry.
Clark struggling badly on the right hand side. He just really hasn't got going at all, Steve Clark. Hasn't adjusted well. His passes have been well off. It's almost looked like he's been forcing the ball. I think that's what Paul Teague Davis has been saying to him, hanging his head as well. Still early in the encounter, but he hasn't been fluent at all.
Guthrie tried an expansive pass, but only played it straight to McPherson.
Well, that's exactly what his coach was just frustrated about, that they're forcing a lot of the passes on it, Gardens, instead of playing a simpler pass, especially on a surface that is not as easy to play on.
This is Phillips.
Simpler is better.
Yes, sir. Christian under pressure from Martin, turns away from him. Very good by Nicole Christian. Needs to find the pass to match the approach play. This is Alana Barnes' first touch, not great. Still Barnes trying to work the angle for a left-footed shot. It's blocked by Earl Simpson. Applause again from the Dunbeholden bench. They loved that. Guthrie gets Steve Clark going. He has some room in front of him to work with. Certainly has a beating of Dewar for pace, and he leaves him for dead. Steve Clark goes down. Can he keep it in? Needs a cross now. Needs a pass. Finds Guthrie. Guthrie puts the cross in, and it can't beat McPherson, who from left back was adopting a central defensive position, and Dean Andre Thomas deemed to have crossed from an offside position to interfere with play. And it's an Arnett Gardens ball. Not taken from the right position, so referee Perry sends them back.
And even with that short pass, Earl Simpson nearly passed it past Ajuma Johnson yet again. I'm not sure what's going on. It's such a close and easy pass, and he's banging it against Ajuma Johnson.
But Chris, is there no reason? Do you need more reason to see why Paul Davis has been on Earl Simpson's case from the first whistle?
And Earl Simpson is the one who's been the consistent member of this backline. He's not one that has come in.
The Dunbeholden coach bench is upset with the fourth official. They're saying that there was an off-the-ball incident. Their player struck in the face.
And their argument is that Cephas was the one who threw the arm.
Yes, we're going to see the replay, I'm sure. But the Dunbeholden assistant coaching staff very, very much convinced that something untoward happened. And Paul Teague Davis, the Arnett Gardens coach, defending his team, saying the Dunbeholden coaching staff is instigating an attempt to get their place sent off. This is what happened. This is Cephas. Raises it's on his shoulder, and
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! What an attempt to con a player.
No.
And look at the amount of time he takes to go down. Taylor.
Yeah, that's. I don't like that play from Rashawn Taylor, and that's play acting. That's play acting. Yes, there was an arm by Cephas, but it was more of a friendly, and then a slight.
And it was to the
movement.
back of the head. He wasn't to the face, and he went down holding the face. Wow. So no action taken by the referee, Perry, who would have seen what happened and saw no reason. Yeah. Kong at the back post, trying to keep it alive. Has he won himself a corner? Yes, he's won his team a corner.
Don't like to see that from players, especially one who is my namesake.
Actually, Perry had booked Ronaldo Cephas for that. That's what we're hearing. That Ronaldo Cephas was booked for that arm. Through with this corner. Ezra Simpson trying to redirect it. And for a moment, Damon Hyatt was interested. 43rd minute. When the game on the park lacks fluency for whatever reason, then it's hard for us to exercise or demonstrate fluency in how we're calling the action. That's the challenge we have. Duar told to go long with the pass, and he obliges, trying to hit Taylor. Juma Johnson polices him well. It's a throw to Dunbeholden in this 44th minute we're now in, approaching the half-time mark. McCarthy goes for the curler. Not a convincing strike at all from Fabian McCarthy. Straight through to Maximus Davis.
And another squeal by Taylor. Very unnecessary.
Martin turns away from Christian and finds Cunningham with the pass. 2 minutes to be added at the end of the 45. Our boy now racing. Can he get in front of Dyer? Does well with his body, the big skipper for Dunbeholden, and finds McCarthy in midfield. Temperature dropping here just a touch at this facility. Dean Andre Thomas, excellent first touch, but Earl Simpson steals in front of him. Can Cephas run at Taylor now? Inside. And neither for Arboy, neither for Guthrie. Runs through to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, another good pass by Cephas. That was in the gap.
Would have been an excellent shot by a batsman, eh?
Yes. Would split the two teammates of his.
Ezra and Simpson had more time than that, but Steve Clark has done well with the pass. Now Cunningham in the back from right back. Back to Ezra and Simpson. To Kong, who has some time to take and control. Closed down by the Mario Phillips though. Phillips eased off it by Earl Simpson. Bigger body told in that clash. Ajuma Johnson forward to Arboy. Dyer will want to see it out, and it took a touch off Dyer, and the assistant says corner kick. Dyer wanted the foul, well, Duar wanted the foul called, but nothing doing, said Perry.
Good work by Arboy. That's what you can count on from Kimani. Intense work rate, runs very hard, willing to get back, never lets anything go. And something that I think Arnett Gardens need, especially with so many changes within their starting lineup. Does need that level of intensity, especially because Cephas and Clark not at their best this afternoon.
Clark with this corner. Short to Ajuma Johnson. Johnson trying to get around Christian. Gets rid of him now and puts the cross in. Hit it away with authority by Taylor. Johnson comes on to the loose ball. Guthrie. Wide to Cunningham. Has Cephas wider. Uses him. Cephas turns into the imposing Shaquille Dyer and loses out. And the Mario Phillips now. Out to Christian. Good first touch as you'd expect. Christian trying to find Dwayne Smith. John Cunningham taller and met it. And Ezra and Simpson under no pressure. Turned the ball over. And the Mario Phillips did well to keep it away from Luca Kong. Phillips forward looking for Dean Andre Thomas, and Cunningham won it. Boots it forward, long. McCarthy once again. Doesn't like the movement in front of him. Goes wide to McPherson. McPherson told to put it in the box, which he does. Juma Johnson forward to Steve Clark. Can he turn and sprint up the you thought that was intentional? I thought it was lucky. I thought it was fortuitous, but it worked. It looked beautiful though.
Yes, I think his left foot is that good though.
Yeah, I think it's that good. I just think he was running and it just fell there and yeah, right in his stride. Looked good.
Yeah.
Referee Perry has seen enough of the first half. Yeah, there were bits and pieces of quality threatening to break out, Chris Taylor, but nothing sustained. It's been a slog on a pitch that is not conducive to seeing the best of the top quality players who are on display for both teams. It's halftime 0-0 between Arnett Gardens and Dunbeholden, the first match in this doubleheader at Draxhall on this Monday. We'll be back with more highlights after these. Back we are at the Draxhall Sports Complex, 0-0 at the break between Arnett Gardens and Dunbeholden. Dunbeholden having some good chances in the first half, but some last-ditch defending from the Arnett Gardens team, keeping the sheet clean. No goals yet after the first half of action. So this is what we saw in that first half, which the producer has whipped into the halftime highlights package. Steve Clark and Kimani Arboyne, the ball hit him on his back. Mistimed his header badly, and that was the first chance of the game. Then Dunbeholden came to the party. Zelana Barnes shifting it wide to Dwayne Smith, puts the cross in, and Maximus Davis getting there. Zelana Barnes, his effort at goal was blocked. Look at Earl Simpson's block. Juma Johnson was standing there, but had it passed Simpson, may have gone into the goal. This is Taylor, whips a cross in. That DeAndre Thomas collects and fires through the legs of Ezra Simpson, but into the grateful arms of Maximus Davis in the right position, so the save looked easy in the end. In numbers, 1 shot on target by Arnett Gardens, 4 on target by Dunbeholden. There were 5 fouls, no yellow cards just yet. 1 offside call, that was against Dunbeholden rather, DeAndre Thomas. 6 corners, 5 to Arnett Gardens. 1 save made by the Arnett Gardens goalkeeper Maximus Davis, and Dunbeholden had the ball for 52% of that first half. Let's recap the action from Sunday.
A game that had a lot of highlights. Lions in goal, starting things off, but it's Tivoli that would put the pressure on very, very early. Here comes Stephen Barnett from the flank, crosses very hard and low. And Harrison gets a fingertip save to that one. Barnett again, left-footed from just on the edge of the box. Strikes really well here, and then with a right-footed effort a few minutes later has Peter Harrison diving and making the stop. Barnett again puts Harrison in trouble as he fails to hold on well to this powerhouse of a shot, a bullet-like shot. Doesn't know where the ball is, eventually trickles off his post and then behind. And here's Barnett's goal that decided the match from an angle. Powerful, hard, hits the net violently. And it gives Tivoli Gardens the 1-0 lead here on 31 minutes. Good build-up here, starting with Garrison's pass. And Stephen Barnett gets his first goal of the season. He had 2 goals last year, Barnett did. This is his first goal of the season, and he has had an outstanding match, Stephen Barnett. All of that action there you've just seen was in the first half alone. Chock full of highlights. Garrison wide here to Barnett, who again goes for goal from the near post, but Harrison makes the fine save. Good reflex save there from Harrison as he was drifting towards covering the far post, but had to make the adjustment and did so well. Nelson with a cross inside. And an opportunity there for Lions and the equalizer, but Sean Livingston just a little bit too hurried with the play. One of the few times here when Trevante Stewart got away from Barrington Price. His cross inside finds Nelson, the team's leading scorer, but Nelson from 6 yards fails to make a proper connection here. Nelson again having an opportunity, running on behind this one, collecting the pass but losing his balance. Nelson with a fine strike here, but Diego Horton in goal for Tivoli Gardens, equal to the task. Yeah, frustrating afternoon for Nelson, who would eventually be substituted in this fixture. Yeah, that's Dion Palmer, the substitute coming on, having a right-footed goal. An opportunity here for Tivoli to put the seal on things. But unfortunately for Anthony Nelson, he couldn't direct that one past the goalkeeper. Darren Davey, the man with the whistle. Javier Brown, the captain of the Veer team, with the first strike on goal. Veer continuing to press forward. That strike real easily handled there by Benjamin Williams in the goal for Portmore United. Lamar Neal does really well here, and then fires a shot over the top. Shea Smith comes across, crosses inside here, and that ball was steered in, I think, by Javin McFarlane. The referee didn't score it as a goal or didn't deem it a goal, but the replay suggests that the whole ball may have crossed the line, and Javin McFarlane was adamant that it went in. Panton in real problems here, like a windshield wiper as he tries to fend off these attacks by Portmore, but he couldn't stop this one. DeAndre Cunningham, first season of Premier League football, his first goal as a Premier League player, gets Portmore the lead in the game. Panton diving or stretching full strength, but couldn't tip that one over. And Cunningham celebrates here the goal that gave Portmore the lead. Plummer picks one up here and would find his captain. Javier Brown with a header on the far post. The Portmore defenders appealing for an offside call. No sympathy from the match officials. Yeah, Javier Brown would have been a close call there because there wasn't a defender close enough to him, and Dookie was happy for the moment. So it was 1-1 as they battle into stoppage time. Portmore fighting really hard here, and look at the exquisite back heel from Shea Smith. This is 4 minutes into stoppage time. The clearance poor, and the back heel from Shea Smith just sliding past the goalkeeper and the challenging defenders and winning the game for Portmore in stoppage time. So the former champions, 7-time winners of the Premier League, Portmore getting themselves back into the shake-up here after a pretty dodgy start to the season. They now sit just outside a playoff spot with this hard-fought 2-1 victory.
We did say it was balmy. It's getting quite hot once again here at the Draxall Sports Complex. Some of these action shots from the first half as Dunbeholden and Arnett Gardens struggled with the heat and with the underfoot conditions to produce good football here at the Draxall Sports Complex. That's Nicoy Christian, the creator-in-chief for the Dunbeholden team. Promos, events coming up on SportsMax. We have a Premier League game on Saturday at 12:45, 1:45 for those outside the Caribbean. Harbourview against Waterhouse. That's on SportsMax. And then again, the second game will be Tivoli Gardens and Mount Pleasant. 4:15 for those outside of Jamaica. SportsMax and CVM TV will be carrying those games from Sabina Park. Oh, Stadium East, beg your pardon. It was originally to have been Sabina Park, but Stadium East is where those two games will come from on Saturday. So let's look at how the ball has been behaving on this Draxall Sports Complex, which is 4.5 games old. So these are the areas that the ground staff patched with sand. And look at that. It just almost like a ball from a fast bowler that pitched and the batsman is expecting it to rear to his chest and it just scooted at his ankles. Another case of a bad bounce there. And McCarthy was looking to play that with the instep. Instead it hit him on the shin. And yeah, and look at the 6-yard box, well, the goal line, right where the keeper patrols in the center of the goal, an area of every football pitch that is well worn, and the sand being brought to patch that area to ensure that the holes are evened out. Let's look at how Demario Phillips, one of the danger men for Dunbeholden, has been attended to. I wouldn't say shackled, attended to by the Arnett midfielders. That's him, number 9. Has played at right back, attacking midfield. Second forward, there he is running into Marlon Martin. And then Luca Kong, robbing him in the midfield there again. And then Kong again, 2 times. And then that's him running into Earl Simpson. So Phillips has had his moments, but has also come unstuck against some of the Arnett Gardens midfielders. So the players are back out. Remember, we told you that Dunbeholden didn't bring as many substitutes as usual because of what the club is calling administrative issues. So their bench rather light, only 5 men deep. Arnett Gardens, in contrast, have 9 men on the substitutes bench. And so Teagat Davis has a stronger hand to play in terms of the substitutes that he can call upon to rejuvenate this team and the game if the situation demands. We're about 30 seconds away from kickoff. And Chris, what would you like to see from these teams differently? Let's start with Dunbeholden.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Atafarai Bygrave makes an entrance very soon. I think they need him actually up front. I wouldn't be surprised if... I'm not so sure how long Zelana Barnes is actually going to last. So, as you said, Phillips a utility player. Why not play Phillips then in the out wide position because of his ability and speed and so on, and then play Bygrave up front? Maybe Shaquem Powell could be another man who comes into play in that central role, and then they ask Phillips to play wide. And yeah, Thomas hasn't really worked, so I wouldn't be surprised if, as you said, at some point Bygrave comes on. I don't like the long ball policy that they've played, especially without Bygrave. And I think going through the middle with McCarthy and Christian, is actually the way to go for Dunbeholden. More of that, and I think they'll cause lots of problems for Arnett Gardens, who, as you said, it's a bit of a makeshift backline. Arnett Gardens, on the other hand, I think that, you know, Marlon Allen will see him sooner than later, and wouldn't be surprised if it is Steve Clark who is sacrificed and Arboyne asked to play wide.
Taylor somehow found Dean Andre Thomas with that pass. McCarthy with the snapshot from... Oh, it's put forward by Dwayne Smith. Didn't get any power on the right-footed shot. That's almost happened in slow motion from Smith. Easy in the end for Maximus Davis, but Dunbeholden throwing the first dart of the second half.
Yeah, good attempt by Smith, as we said, scored in this encounter the last time out in 2021 season. A 1-1 draw it was. Smith scored in that game in the 51st minute. And well, had about opportunity in a similar time frame.
Cunningham with the nutmeg on Dwayne Smith. Excellent pass through to Arboyne. Can he keep it in? No, he didn't. And I suspect if he had gotten possession, the assistant on this near side, Jeremy Neesing, would have flagged him for offside.
You like to think somewhat that if they were playing on this surface all along, George, and they hadn't been exposed to the GFF, maybe how they would actually be playing might be slightly different. But because they've been so used to the true surface and the even bounce, know that they're coming on an undulating surface, it's caused a lot of problems.
The baby having gripe, having been weaned on breast milk and now having to do with baby formula.
And I question even the use of sand in a goalkeeper's area, because the goalkeepers rely on firm footing, especially to get that spring out of the legs. And as you know, sand is not certain at all. So I wonder how that will affect the movement if it's called upon.
Cephas trying to burst into the box. This is Guthrie. Plays Cephas once again. The shot is kept out smartly by Damon Hyatt. Sharp save to his right. Arnett Gardens answering back. So Dunbeholden had one shot on goal, saved by the goalkeeper, easily gathered by Maximus Davis. And Damien Hyatt making a better save, required to make a sharper save. As we had again of the... I can't recall being a game in this Premier League, Chris, where there's not a point where the ball is changed because the ball is soft. And I wonder... the question, you know where I'm going with this. Yes. I'm thinking NFL. And I'm thinking deflate gate. And I'm wondering if one great quarterback is deflating the balls on purpose. This is Marlon Martin. He deemed to have fouled Zelana Barnes. He looked at the referee quizzically to say, well, am I not the one on the ground? Referee Perry says it's the free kick for Dunbeholden. Just before we started the broadcast, there was an item of breaking news that both FIFA and UEFA have banned all Russian teams from all club and international competitions. More about that later. Christian, his cross is met by Earl Simpson, cleared. And
what a way it came after Zenit St. Petersburg had lost.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have mattered.
So, with 3 nations refusing to play Russia in World Cup qualifiers, the Czech Republic, Sweden and Poland, FIFA weren't really left with any option but to so rule. So, the world uniting against a certain warlord masquerading as a president. Let's see what happens beyond that. I was saying to you earlier, Chris, that the first Arnett Gardens team to win the National Premier League title in Jamaica, Cravenly sponsored it then, as you would know, the 1978 batch. They hardly get a mention. You hear about the Byron Earl days and the Walter Boyd days and the Eugene Barnes days.
Yes.
Those 1978 men have almost been written out of history, and I've always felt the slight on their behalf.
And then the Gang of Five crew in the
late
late 90s.
Yep.
Yeah.
They get no joy whatsoever for what they did. Excellent turn of pace by Kimani Arboin. Can he get the cross in though? Shaquille Dyer shadowed him every step of the way and won it.
Dyer's had an excellent game.
Oh yes.
Man Arboin very well. And Clark.
Cross put in by Johnson, and Hyatt got there, getting the big frame out. Maximus Davis got there late, but got there in the end. Go through to Cephas. Can he have better joy over on that far side of the field? Inside Taylor, and Demario Phillips had a little nibble, and the nibble was sufficient for referee Alexi Perry to have cause to book him. So Demario Phillips, the second man into the referee's book. Cephas had been booked in the first half. So 1 yellow card apiece. #51st minute. Still waiting for the game's first goal. Juma Johnson lining up this free kick. 6 men in red and black shirts in the box. It's fired in and cleared by Taylor. Cunningham to Luca Kong. Kong under pressure. Robbed by Dwayne Smith. Guthrie fires the cross in. It's met by Dewar and cleared by Phillips. As far as Juma Johnson. Earl Simpson midfield to Marlon Martin. Wide to Johnson. Excellent touch to get around Taylor. He's in some space now. Juma Johnson needs a good cross. It's stopped by Hyatt. Followed by Kong, who rifles it with the left foot into the roof of the net. The first half substitute beats his chest. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the opening goal in this contest.
Arnett Gardens starting the better of the two teams in the second half. And Damian Hyatt, who made his first save of the game in the 48th minute off the boot of Cephas, is hapless there, and a really good finish. Kong has come into the game very well and has really been a man within the middle of the park. And Juma Johnson, another quality overlapping run, and as you said, that talented left boot putting it into the business area, and an emphatic finish by Kong. There was no chance for Hyatt on that occasion to be the hero.
A thunderous finish from Luca Kong. Damian Hyatt's attempt at grabbing that ball set it up perfectly for him. And although the goalkeeper tried to recover, Kong's long strides just saw him eat up the ground. And he got there and really gave that shot some violence.
Again, the quality,
yeah.
Again, the quality of Johnson on that left flank, whipping in those balls. The delivery from the dead ball initially was excellent, and then the follow-up again, just some trickery to get past the covering defender. And then, as you said, once you get it in and around that penalty area, 6-yard box, it's always going to be dangerous.
Well, it's fair to criticize Juma Johnson for not having the skills, the nous of a traditional left back in terms of tackling. That's what he gives you from left back, that attacking instinct that those in the Arnett Gardens team who would play that position don't possess, because he's an attacker by heart, by instinct, by skill set. They've asked him to operate in a defensive position and make those overlapping runs. Solano Barnes, it missed 2 men in blue shirts and is sent forward by Cunningham, and Cephas can't retrieve.
In fact, the position that Zelano Barnes is playing for Dunbeholden is a position that Juma Johnson usually plays. They are very similar. In fact, when Zelano Barnes was playing for Arnett Gardens, he was asked to play left back initially. Yeah. But he's playing as a he started out as what? A left midfielder.
Yes.
But he's on the right flank now. But yeah, that is what Juma Johnson would normally play. That wide wing position.
Well, I tell you this, as we've said several times, that Steve Clark's ball threatens us here on the commentary position. For all of his Premier League career before this season, Juma Johnson was playing in where Zelano Barnes is now, in left midfield, attacking. For Tivoli Gardens, for Capital, that was his position, his role. They've remade him, remodeled him as a footballer this season, Arnett Gardens, and so far it's paying fruit.
Yeah.
Dyer pings this ball forward. Dean Andre Thomas got it to Smith. McCarthy lets it run.
And as you rightfully said 2 games ago, George, he has improved defensively as well.
Oh, yes.
I wouldn't say he's more solid, but his awareness is a lot better than it was when he started.
Barnes trying to get it to Thomas, and Maximus Davis under pressure from Ezra and Simpson. And deemed by referee Perry to have fouled the Dreadlocks, who's now fixing his mane, tying it into a bun to get back on the way.
What he definitely isn't is a tackler, Juma Johnson, but
sure,
he certainly will track now, and he, as I said, he's learned how to use his body in a better manner, in a more defensive manner. But yeah, the tackling will never be him, really.
There's a question I've wanted to ask you, but I think it's too early. I thought it was too early then, and I still think it's too early. I'm going to ask you shortly, though. I'm watching the clock. This is Nicole Christian. Turns Ezra and Simpson. Fires this one in. Dwayne Smith saw the idea. He was trying to turn and just crane his neck to snap that ball towards the near post, but missed the target.
Dwayne Smith threatening to score in this fixture yet again. Likes this fixture, Dwayne Smith, and he's had a couple peaks at the goal, but hasn't been able to be clinical. He's had a couple shots that have gone over the bar, then a header wide again. Scored the only goal for Dunbeholden in the 2021 fixture. Would love to repeat that feat.
So of the subs that Dunbeholden brought here, half of them are warming up. 3 of them are Arboin on the sprint. Can he get by Duar? Bigger body, but robbed by Arboin. Fires across. He knows it's a touch forward by Romeo Guthrie. It needed a stronger touch, and he only got maybe the bootlaces to it. It's still alive for Arnett Gardens. Cephas is in possession. To Luca Kong. Inside, it's a brilliant save by Damien Hyatt with the feet. The right foot from Steve Clark's effort. Clark just wanted to turn it goalwards. He got enough purchase on it, got enough on it. But Hyatt, his arms going one way, his feet the other, and like David Day had just kicked out with the right boot to flick that ball away. Excellent goalkeeping. Barnes. Yep. I know he is a Liverpool fan. You'd have preferred an Alisson Becker or a Kevin reference, yes, but I work with what I have. This is the effort. Arboin fires it across. Guthrie
got to score.
Didn't get much on it, just bootlaces. And then look at Luca Kong and look at Steve Clark, and it's a brilliant save.
It's a brilliant save, but one that he shouldn't have had to make. It should have found the back of the net. Should have been a more authoritative finish from Clark. A bit soft. And not to mention Guthrie, who certainly should have buried his first opportunity, and it was a total miss kick. And the captain knew it. But yes, when the fact that Hyatt was there and did get a foot to it, it's a really great save, but I think that Clark should have put it beyond him. And had time, Clark. It's not as if he was under a lot of pressure, so no excuse for not putting it into the roof of the net with the right boot.
Yeah, and he's carrying in his head, Steve Clark, like a man who knows that he missed a grand opportunity. A corner kick. The assistant referee was saying goal kick, and he's being overruled by the referee, Alexi Perry, who says no, it's a corner. So Marlon Allen on the Arnett Gardens bench would have said, God, why wasn't I in that position that Steve Clark found himself in? I would have shown him what a centre forward does from point blank range.
I think so too.
Phillips with this corner. Met near post by Dwayne Smith. The flick comes through, but it's cleared by Juma Johnson. And McCarthy very ambitious from there.
Yeah, you expect better quality from McCarthy, and he knows it, the hand raised. There are the substitutes, and no surprise that, as you said, George, three of the 6 warming up, and we already spoke about the 2 that we think would come in. I'm sure it's just a moment before Bygrave is on, and I wouldn't be surprised if Shaquem Powell is also brought on. I would actually experiment with maybe Phillips further up and then put Powell in the central midfield role.
Steve Clark on the sprint. Can he dig out a cross? To the back post. Cephas with the header, and he clears the crossbar with it. Brilliant interception, because it did take a deflection. And but for that, he would have been in. This is Steve Clark.
I think it's Taylor as well.
He stands up the cross to the back post.
Look here, that was on target. It came off the back of Taylor's head. It's actually great defending. Look at this here. Cephas' header is on target. And then Taylor, I mean, he didn't know much about it, Taylor, but it did flick the locks.
Yep. Good thing he was wearing those plats. Johnson. Smith blocks his cross this time.
And Juma Johnson causing problems.
Fires this one, goes. Excellent first touch. He's offside though, Ezra and Simpson. Just as he was thinking about firing that, Jermaine Easing made his mind up for him to say, leave it alone, son. It's not your ball. You were offside.
Scored a lovely substitutes goal. Ezra and Simpson, 2 matches ago, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. He scored his head on that occasion though. So it's an opportunity to see the foot skills.
Dean Andre Thomas. Buys a free kick. Really?
Bit soft, but
yeah. Dunbeholden have to step up the tempo on this, you believe.
Wouldn't be surprised. Thomas's time is limited, I'm sure, for Dunbeholden.
Well, guess what, Chris? They've called back Atafaroy Bygrave, but he's removing his training top now, so Dunbeholden's top scorer is only moments away from entering this game. McCoy Christian with this free kick for them, though. Spears it goal, it's met by Earl Simpson. Decent header, cleared further by Arboy.
And let me tell you, George, I think this is a game for him, just based on how it's gone so far. The fact that Arnett Gardens aren't their usual back line. I think Bygrave, with the confidence that he has coming in, yes, he has a bit of a niggle, but I wouldn't be surprised if he causes a lot of problems and finds a goal as well.
Well, based on that coming from you, I think it's right to ask you this question. After this, oh, Maximus Davis with a sliding tackle to get there ahead of McCoy Christian. Luca Congno for Arnett. Can he move them up the field? Goes long, trying to hit Steve Clark. Clark is quick, but not that quick. Yeah, so we've gone an hour as Bygrave prepares to come in, Chris. So I've been waiting to ask you the question. What do you make of the Simpsons at centre-back for Arnett Garden so far in this game?
I actually think they haven't been doing badly. I know Paul Teagat Davis was at Earl in the early part, but also I just don't think that Thomas by himself, I don't think they have been able to test them enough. And this is where the test, I think, is really going to happen. Against Bygrave, a physical presence, who is confident, he's scoring goals, good foot skill, very good in the air, which will challenge them. You see, the players that have been on the park for Dunbeholden don't add much aerial presence for Dunbeholden, so it's been easy, I think, for the tall centre-backs and defenders of Arnett Gardens. But now, this is a major difference. So number 30, Rashawn Taylor, the right back, comes out. Bygrave goes in. Demario Phillips is gone to right back. Let's see what other adjustment is made by Dunbeholden to accommodate for the presence of their most lethal player. So Phillips has gone wide, but instead of being one of the 3 in the 4-2-3-1, he's gone into a right back. Yeah, that's him now in possession. Yeah. So he's gone to right back to Mario Phillips. So he's actually deep. Forward into space for Bygrave to chase. Gets his first touch, the big man. Simpson clears long, so Dyer will have to start the Dunbeholden attack again. So and they're stuck with Zelano Barnes. McPherson can't beat Steve Clark, who boots it out for a throw. I think a couple changes coming soon again. I don't think that Bygrave is the only one for Dunbeholden. I think they look a bit leggy, especially Barnes. Zelano Barnes. We're watching to see if he can find a second win. Davis flaps at it.
Cleared away by Luca Kung. And Luca Kung boots it into touch. That man in the shades, that's the father of Maximus Davis, an accomplished sportsman in his own right. Played cricket and football at Camperdown High, the same team, cricket team, as the former West Indies opener, Wavell Hines. The Indians called him Wavell Hines when he was playing for the West Indies, former SportsMax Zone host. Camperdown, a talent production factory, and Mr. Davis looking at his son in the #1 jersey for Arnett Gardens. He tells us, Chris Taylor, Mr. Davis, Senior Davis, that if Wavell Hines hadn't made the cricket team, he'd have been throwing the discus for Camperdown.
Interesting.
I'm not sure Wavell would have made a living out of discus. He's made a darn good living out of cricket. So
He was a good footballer as well, I must say, Wavell Hines. Many were surprised that he didn't take up football more seriously.
I'm going to call him when I'm done. Phillips swing this one in. Headed clear by Luca Kung. Tell him that you're trying to sanitize his reputation as a footballer. Arboyne and Cunningham getting each other's way.
In fact, quite a few of the former Jamaican West Indian cricketers are pretty good footballers as well in their own right.
Smith, forward. Maximus Davis gathers easily. Yeah, you know, there's a lot to be said about sportsmen and all-round sportsmen. And you know, the more I read about David Bernard Sr., I'm tending to think that there's never been a sportsman like him in Jamaica's history. There's never been a sport played competitively that he has not represented some club or team in and done very, very well. The former fitness coach for the Jamaica cricket team, David Bernard Sr.
Yeah.
Played everything. He boxed, he wrestled, he played football,
He's a former
cricket,
soldier, of
athletics,
course. So.
yeah, table tennis.
Or are you ever a former soldier? He was a soldier.
There you go.
But yeah, played for the national team as a centre-back as well.
So Wavell Hines not in that class as an all-rounder, is he? There's a lot of bars swing this one in that Maximus Davis grabs easily.
Well, I guess he didn't take up some of the opportunities that were there, unlike Senior. David Bernard Jr. as well, actually a pretty good footballer, played for Jamaica College when he was there. So it does run in the family.
Marlon Allen in the number 30 shorts.
And Deacon.
And Damari Deacon, yeah. I was witness to the incident that caused Damari Deacon to fall in the doghouse. And when he was going through what he was going through, the histrionics, I just felt that he would pay with some bench time, and I was proven right. Meanwhile, on the field, there's a dispute between Romeo Guthrie, the Arnett Gardens captain, and Nicoy Christian, the Dunbeholden midfield maestro, over the quality of Nicoy Christian's tackle, and Mr. Perry has called Christian to have a word with him. So this is what Guthrie is upset about right here. Christian, 30 years old, and running the show for Dunbeholden in the midfield and looking impressive while doing it. Kimoni Bailey preparing to come in for the St. Catherine team. Duar spears this forward on the chest. Zilana Barnes goes down. He was off balance. No appeal for a free kick. Simpson forward to Cephas. It's an excellent pass to Ronaldo Cephas. Looks around, realizes he doesn't have any help. All the way back to Simpson. Earl variety. Midfield to Martin. Wide to Ajuma Johnson. Guthrie. Cephas back to Marlon Martin. Over the top, trying to find Guthrie, trying to break the line with that long pass. He failed to do so. Phillips now over the top into space for Bygrave. And Janoy Cunningham easily back to his goalkeeper to handle. Davis didn't take it up. Forward to Arboyne. Ball a bit sticky. He tried to make the pass on 2 occasions where the ball wouldn't run off his boot. Christian robbed by Steve Clark, who came on his blind side. And Christian deemed to have fouled Clark.
Yeah, Deacon is going to be brought in a wide area as well. And of course Allen in central, but before that, this man.
So Kimoni Bailey comes in, Zilana Barnes. We felt he wouldn't last the course because he's not yet at peak fitness, and we've been proven right. Meanwhile, referee Perry sends the players to take a water break. The water break sponsored by 876 Spring Water. Bailey comes on at the interval.
Was a regular start in the early part of the season, then lost his place. Bailey likes to run at players. Bit of trickery to him as well. Can be a nuisance on the park.
Marlon Allen has removed his bib, so he's going to come in soon for Arnett Gardens as well. Deacon still warming up. So let's see. Who do you suspect is the candidate to make way for Marlon Allen? Steve Clark?
Yeah, well, I see Namara Deacon warming up as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if Deacon replaces Clark. And that's a good question. Is it?
So this is the goal once again. Ajuma Johnson firing it in. I'll leave you to get that thought together, Chris. And Luca Kong with a crashing, a shot that crashed into Damien Hyatt's goal. All of that was made by the driving run and quality cross from Ajuma Johnson from left back. And Johnson is like 876 Spring Water, uniquely Jamaican. And despite his last name, we can assure you so, is Luca Kong. So Kimani Arboyne has gotten the call from Paul Teagut Davis to have a rest and replaced by Marlon Allen. No sign that Deacon is going to be introduced anytime soon, but he's still continuing his warm-up routine.
Still a little bit surprised by that, just because of the lung ability, the lung capacity, I should say, of Arboyne. So if you had put Arboyne on the right side and withdrew Clark, the fact is Arboyne is going to give you that support in the back line as well, defensively. So he's going to help out your right back so much to protect that lead. So I'm a little bit surprised. I would have gone for Clark over Arboyne. I think Arboyne has had a better game actually as well.
Christian flagged for the infringement, stepping in on Janoy Cunningham. That's the call that Alexi Perry made. Christian can't believe. Well, handball is the call. And Christian saying, well, the ball hit my hand, what am I going to do? Was what he said to the fourth official. So Chris Taylor has given the Simpsons a passing grade up to this point, am I correct?
Yeah.
Allen with his first touch, and he's fouled by McPherson. Arnett free kick.
And so far, because of Arnett's press, it has created a hole in the midfield for Dunbeholden. So Bygrave hasn't been able to get the support so far in terms of delivery. You know, so it hasn't really. So there's not been really an opportunity for him to, what could I say, challenge the Simpson pair.
So the Simpsons haven't yet faced the Bygrave test.
No.
So, all right, let's see what happens when they do face it. This is Ajuma Johnson with this free kick. Goes to the back stick trying to find Janoy Cunningham, who felt he was held by Fabian McCarthy, and showing the referee that I was grabbed right here. Dunbeholden to make another change, number 25 set to come in. That's Rashane Myrie. Earl Simpson lays it to Marlon Martin. Central to Steve Clark. Wants Janoy Cunningham to move on the overlap, and he does so. Cunningham. Luca Kong under pressure from McCarthy. Clark. Arnett patient in position high up the field, and it's broken down rather comically from the Arnett Gardens perspective. Number 6, Dwayne Smith, is going to come out for Dunbeholden, and Rashane Myrie, number 25, comes in. Steve Clark is holding his shin, and Damari Deacon has gotten the green light to come in to replace him, I'm sure. So 25 in for Dunbeholden. That's Rashane Myrie, and Dwayne Smith comes out.
No more goals in this fixture for Smith, at least not for this season. Didn't have a bad game. Smith was unable to find the target, but did have a few opportunities. And I actually think he moved and provided good support.
Had a couple chances that he will rule not taking. Marlon Martin. Forward to Marlon Allen. Can Allen keep it in? He needs some support. Cunningham is showing to give him that support. Strong play by Allen. Into the path of Martin. Good chest trap. Luca Kong, can he get there on the volley? No. McPherson got there before him. This is our substitute, Myrie. Gets away from 200 Gardens players. Gets away from a third, and Ezra Simpson reached in and fouled him. Clattered him, Ezra Simpson did. And he's trying to tell the referee, well, don't give me the card, but the referee obliges. Alexi Perry goes into the book. Ezra Simpson. Meanwhile, Clark is out, and Deacon is in for Arnett Gardens.
Good skill by Myrie. And again, pulling Simpson out of position, Ezra, and receiving the yellow card for that. So good work by the substitute. Need to get more players forward, Dunbeholden. Let's see if Bygrave can come into play now.
Christian over the top. It's met by Ajuma Johnson, was tracking Kimoni Bailey's run. Good defending there from Johnson. Cephas forward to Allen. Allen told to drive by the Arnett Gardens coaching staff. He's still going. Lost it at the vital position, he felt.
He does have too much work to do, Allen. Too many players surrounding him.
Christian releases Phillips in a lot of space. Phillips can cross. It's met by Earl Simpson rather ungainly. Turned it away with his hip. But contact was good enough. This is Allen. Central to Luca Kong. Deacon on the run on this near side. What can he do? What can he create? The fresh substitute going through the step overs and the shimmies. Inviting the tackle from McPherson, and he wins the throw for Arnett Gardens.
Substitution for Arnett Gardens in the 24th minute.
Paul Teagat Davis having a row with Luca Kong, telling him that if you can't go forward and go back after you've lost the ball, then don't go, just stay. That's what he's telling him repeatedly. If you go forward and find that you can't come back when you go, then don't go in the first place. Stay, sit.
Makes a lot of sense, especially when you're leading by a goal to nil. Does like to get forward, and obviously is a presence as the game changer so far, but as you said, he needs him in that central role to break up play.
Dean Andre Thomas links up with Bygrave. Bygrave protects it well from Earl Simpson. Back to Myrie. Myrie being closed down, but finds Christian. Phillips in a lot of space. Gets it now to Mario Phillips. Excellent pass. Excellent first touch by Phillips. Back to McCarthy. Dunbeholden have a repair job. McCarthy away from Allen. Bailey. His touch is good. He turns and goes down. Appealing for the free kick, and he gets sympathy from referee Alexi Perry.
Well, Cephas getting back, not known for his tackling ability, and hence a clumsy one, resulting in the foul. That's a dangerous position, or is a dangerous position as we look at that from Cephas. Quite clumsy in terms of his challenge, but he was just making sure that Bailey couldn't turn on to his favoured left foot.
Cephas hurt himself in the process. The free kick being spotted by McCarthy. Yeah, Cephas needs some medical attention. They're signaling change, the Arnett Gardens players, especially Ajuma Johnson. And Paul Davis is saying no. So Ajuma Johnson said sub, and Paul Davis said no. And the bench is reminding Ajuma Johnson that the changes are done. Luca Kong came on in the first half for Shandy James. Steve Clark came on. Arboyne came, well, Steve Clark came off. So 3 changes have been made.
Yeah, just
James,
3.
Clark, and Arboyne. So Allen, Deacon, and Kong are the 3. So there are substitutions left. But for some reason, they're telling Ajuma Johnson that there aren't any left.
Oh, but there are 3 windows.
Well,
is that the ruling? It's 5 changes in 3 windows. And have they used 3 windows? It was 3 individual substitutions. Yes, you might be right.
Well, there you go.
They might have used them.
Cephas is walking off on his own steam, perhaps realizing that, yeah, this is not a game that you're going to have to battle through with whatever is ailing you.
And this did come up in the last game, George. Yes, certainly, where we were analysing why more changes weren't being made. And I think that's what has happened here.
So McCarthy and Phillips. McCarthy taking up a right-footed approach, and Phillips a left-footed approach. It's going to be McCarthy. McCarthy over the wall and over the bar.
No dip at all. Just how he approached the ball, he just didn't look comfortable, McCarthy. Very unusual for him. And no surprise that the ball went comfortably over the bar in the end. Didn't get his steps right at all. And almost have a shuffle before he kicked it. Disappointing.
80th minute, Arnett Gardens holding on to a 1-0 lead.
That actually might have been a position that they would have wished that Zelana Barnes was probably still on the field, as
sir.
A talented left footer would have added a different dimension to that.
Davis forward. Kung won the header, but the second ball won by McCarthy. Martin in the midfield for Kung. Forward to in the direction of Allen, but Dyer got there. Kung took it down well, plays in Guthrie, his captain. Forward to Allen. Needs a good pass, excellent pass to Damari Deacon. What can Deacon do? Deacon checks to the left foot, he fires, and it's a goal! Damari Deacon opens up Arnett Gardens' lead. 2-0 for the Junglists. And Damari Deacon, I can't even see him. He's leaped over the advertising hoardings, and for a moment he disappeared from view. But Arnett are disappearing from view. Dunbeholden now need to find 2 goals to at least take something from the game.
And I can tell you as well, the coaching staff is not happy with Deacon at all for removing the shirt for the celebration. And Paul Tiga Davis, who is a real traditionalist, if you want to think about it, he is not happy, but lovely move by Deacon. And as I said, cutting well. What about the pass from Marlon Allen?
Superb.
The man who has been really a game changer for Arnett Gardens. His first assist of the season, Marlon Allen, and Deacon, great skill. You always knew he was going to take it with the left boot. And the Dunbeholden defense fell for it as well. Hyatt no chance against his former team.
So he removed the shirt and he got the yellow card from referee Alexi Perry. So that's his usual celebration inside the concrete jungle. But he must recognize this is Drax Hall and these are different days. Once you remove the shirt, the referee is obliged to book you. Header on goal by Dean Andre Thomas. It just clears Maximus Davis's crossbar.
And that's why Paul Tiga Davis was so annoyed. Needless yellow card. You do remember the last game he suffered 2 red cards, so that would be fresh in his mind. Tiga Davis, there's a yellow card for Deacon.
Davis, delay of game tactics, as you would expect. And referee Perry wants none of it. He books him. So the yellow card's coming out now. The third one for Arnett Gardens.
More disgust on the bench from Arnett Gardens. They're just ridiculous.
So for a moment there, Deacon, when he cleared the advertising hoarding, and then I didn't see him for about 10 seconds, and I was wondering if he had fallen into a hole.
They have all been patched.
Yeah, what Chris, you mentioned it. The pass by Marlon Allen was what it was about.
Yes.
It opened up the defense.
They did say that Marlon Allen had picked up an injury in training earlier in the week and actually missed 3 days of training in a row, so that is why he was unable to start. But look at the difference he has made since coming on. His energy, magnificent, the 20-year-old. And then that pass was excellent, perfectly weighted in a season where we have seen so many passes gone awry.
Juma Johnson working on Kimoni Bailey and gets around him and crosses it. It's met by Dyer. Not the best clearance, but it buys himself and his team some time.
And he had the two substitutes, George, combining for the goal.
Well, the 2 substitutes scoring. Luca Kong was the first half substitute and he scored.
So all 3.
Yep.
In the 3 windows.
But I tell you what, McPherson was the only one in the whole stadium at Drax Hall who didn't know that Deacon was going to cut back on his left foot, because we all knew he was going to do that.
Yeah,
but
we were hinting to it as well.
Yeah, McPherson didn't know that and he got beaten.
That happens a lot with left footers, by the way.
Saying a left footer, what a man in the left footers union, letting out the secret. Juar, Felt, that he was fouled, and the referee agreeing with him. Allen just stepped in to try to knock the ball away from the defender, and in swinging the clear, Duar felt the studs of the Arnett Gardens sub. SportsMax at moment will come from Damien Hyatt. This is Arboyne firing this one low, and then Cephas will put it back in, and look at this, the shot by Steve Clark, kicked away by Damien Hyatt. And then, yep, that we felt was the SportsMax app moment. Download the SportsMax app today to watch the NBA live horse racing from Caymanas Park, the Barclays Premier League, or the English Premier League, Premier League EPL, on the Rush channel, the NBA, everything. Bygrave. Shot from Phillips, it's blocked by Simpson. Earl Simpson, who's gotten beyond the shaky start he had to the game. Arlen turns in midfield. Can't get around Duar. And McCarthy looking for a passing option for Dunbeholden. Uses Bygrave. The flick to Phillips didn't come off, and Earl Simpson comes away. Marlon Martin.
He's been really good, Martin. As
Yes,
I said,
sir.
playing one of those roles that goes unnoticed,
Yep.
but he's been so solid in the middle path. I want to tell you, substitute that defensive midfield partner in Kong has been excellent since coming on. He's scored, but he's broken up a lot of play. But Martin has really been a thorn in the side of this Dunbeholden team.
Number 16 is going to come in for Arnett Gardens with Rashid Kelson. Meanwhile, Martin has a problem for Arnett Gardens. Marlon, he's back up though, and he signals to the bench that he's fine.
Well, it wouldn't make much of a difference. It's either they are going to play with 10 men or...
Well,
Oh,
Kelson is
he's
going to come
continue.
in, so maybe...
Oh,
Yep. So Kelson is going to come in. I guess what was happening with Cephas, Chris, was that Teagat Davis was just telling him that I'm not substituting you. You have to be bleeding. So Johnson was saying change, and Davis was said no, not him. No, tell him to continue. Coaches know their players. Cephas back to Johnson. Johnson midfield to Luca Kong, who
We're
got there
sleeping.
late. And Kimoni Bailey on the run. He can't get it around Earl Simpson though, who's really improved as this game has gone on.
yeah, Kong was a bit sleepy on the play, but it's obvious that Kong needs someone to jolt him every now and then and say something to him. He tends to go to sleep sometimes. You can hear the bench constantly calling his name, even the players on the park. He's been very good, but obviously he needs an alert.
Yep, McPherson hauled down by, well, Allen hauled down by McPherson, and McPherson gets into the referee's bad book, takes the yellow card.
It's been a much better second half by Arnett Gardens. Really slow in the first half, nothing going forward. Dunbeholden had the majority of the play but couldn't find the goal. But this second half has certainly been deserved by Arnett Gardens in terms of their ascendancy.
Cephas gets his wish. He wanted to go to the bench, and Teagat Davis has called him and taken him out of the fray. Rashiki Kelson replaces him. So here's Cunningham with this free kick for Arnett Gardens. We're into the 88th minute. That's another shot of the Arnett Gardens bench, including men who've contributed to them having this 2-0 lead. This is Deacon. Let's see if he goes through the tricks. He blasts it off the shin of Dean Andre Thomas and wins a throw for his team in a short corner position. Deacon told by Paul Davis to go and collect the throw. Cunningham place it into touch. But place it behind for a goal kick to Dunbeholden. So Arnett well on the way to another 3 points this afternoon. Again, the call from the Arnett Gardens bench is keep going, Luca. Phillips puts the cross in, and Maximus Davis easy gather for him.
Cross in the 87th minute to Dunbeholden, number 26, Romario McPherson. While Arnett Gardens made a substitution also in the 87th minute.
Excellent pass by Kong into the path of Deacon. Can he get there? He's taking forever to do so. The cross comes into the back post, and Allen was trying to manufacture the kick. Blocked by the defender from Romeo Guthrie. And Arnett Gardens could have been in for a third there. Kong again wide to Damari Deacon. He's had such a big impact, the substitute. He's telling the bench that, watch it, I'm gonna calm it down. He's going through the step over routine. Does he win the corner? No, he loses it in the end. Was playing to the gallery there. And in these the dying embers of the game, his teammates wouldn't be unhappy with him doing that. Cunningham boots it across field. 5 minutes of time added on is what we're gonna play.
Fourth official indicates minimum 5 minutes to be added to the end of the second half. Minimum 5 minutes added to the end of the second half.
Here's Allen, wide to Kelson. Kelson can't get around the big skipper who's affronted that the man half his size is trying to dribble past him and body him. And Kimoni Bailey under pressure from Martin, who's been superb, Marlon Martin, in that midfield anchorman's role. Christian across to Bailey. Myra rather, he puts it in, headed clear by Ajuma Johnson. And Kelson took too long to move out of that sector and robbed by Dean Andre Thomas. This is Demario Phillips now. Can he find a good cross? He whips it in and it clears the crossbar. So if this were Tony Spalding's home game, the crowd would go wild when Damari Deacon did that. And they would also go wild when Eichel Gregory, their mascot, was going through his warm-up routine. And then they'd also love this, the junglist, the peanut trash, the juice would fly when Deacon scores at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. They love him there, a real crowd pleaser. McCarthy beats Guthrie in the air, and Christian battling Luca Kong. This is Bailey. Good turn, but robbed in the end. And Martin back to Ajuma Johnson over the top, trying to pick out Allen, but it's misdirected. Arnett would love to keep the clean sheet today, Chris.
Yeah. The two defensive midfielders have been excellent. They have been a standout. I mean, Kong might just get the nod just because he has that goal, the ability to go forward. But yeah, they're reading of the play. They have broken up so much of this midfield. If you think about it, McCarthy and Christian have struggled.
I was just about to say to you that
they have struggled.
I've never done a game this season where McCarthy and Christian have been outplayed in midfield. Today they have been comprehensively outplayed. Maximus Davis gets there, but he didn't connect. And the shot on goal! It goes over the line. And Tafaroy Bygrave grabs the consolation for Dunbeholden. Or is it? There's still time to play, and it's 2-1. We were just moments ago talking about Arnett Gardens and the imperative to keep the clean sheet. The sheet soiled by a Tafaroy Bygrave. And all that stemmed from the goalkeeper's attempt to handle this free kick. didn't get there because maybe his teammate got in the way. And Bygrave rolled it into the net.
With the confidence of Tafaroy Bygrave, 6 goals on the season. His awareness peaked, and miscommunication at the back, not the strongest defending after the goalkeeper's attempt. Well, his attempt was weak as well, but that's a good finish by Bygrave. Opportunist finish by Bygrave. And yeah, Arnett Gardens do deserve the victory, it must be said, in terms of how they have played. But again, Arnett Gardens can't keep a clean sheet.
Myrie to McPherson. This game is not done. And what a poor effort by McPherson, and he's being screamed at by Kimoni Bailey. With good reason. Dunbeholden need to gather another breath. They need to go again. They need to win this ball and then go on the attack. There is still time for them to get the result they'd feel. Chris, the man of the match duties. Well, our producer is going to take care of that today. He's volunteered. Thank you very much, sir. You're such a good man.
I still think it's the substitute who came on and scored that goal. Kong. It's between him and Miller. They're the 2 best players on the park today for sure.
Miller or Martin? Martin. There you go. I'm agreeing with you there. I'm agreeing with you there.
I might think Kong having to come on as a substitute and perform like that, yeah, when he wouldn't have been expected to play so early, and then the goal as well, I would give him the nod, but certainly Martin has been excellent as well.
And that's all she wrote. Alexi Perry calls a halt to proceedings. 95 minutes on the clock. Arnett Gardens in the end holding on, beating Dunbeholden 2-1. Goals by 2 substitutes. Luca Kong, a first half substitute, and then that man in the shot, Damari Deacon, a second half substitute, getting the business done. Tafaroy Bygrave off the bench to notch his 6th goal of the season. He's the leading goal scorer in the Premier League this campaign. Chris Taylor is going to go downstairs to do the postman interviews, and in short order, when my producer is ready, we're going to do the full game highlights package. So Damien Hyatt leaves the field, beaten with Dunbeholden, and Kimoni Bailey came on in the second half himself, and Myrie walking beside him. 2 second half additions for Dunbeholden, but they couldn't inspire a performance good enough to take the 3 points. So Arnett Gardens continuing their strong start to the season. They were awful, abysmal last campaign, and they've looked 39 times better already after 7 match weeks in this Jamaica Premier League. The full game highlights are running now. Arbonne with the first chance of the game. It hit his back from Steve Clark's free kick. Then look at this from Earl Simpson. Zelano Barnes manufactured a shot on target. The awkward bounce, and Earl Simpson was there to block his effort. Looked a certain goal there, notwithstanding the presence of Ajuma Johnson on the goal line. Rashawn Taylor fires this one to Dean Andre Thomas under pressure. What he turns, shoots between the legs of Ezran Simpson, but into the grateful arms of Maximus Davis in goal. And then Cephas went on a run. Guthrie back to Cephas, and the snapshot kept out sharply. Sharp save by Damien Hyatt to his right. And then look at Ajuma Johnson, nudges it around Taylor and will whip the cross in. That's going to be finished. Luca Kong with a thunderous right, a left-footed effort, crashing into the roof of the net. The man who was a first half substitute, replacing the injured Shandy James, giving that one some violence. And with it, the lead for Arnett Gardens. Arbonne. This will result in a brilliant save by Damien Hyatt. Steve Clark must score from here, but he can't because Hyatt keeps it out of the right boot. Top save, and then this pass, opening up the defense. To Damari Deacon, checks on the left foot and swings with the same foot, beating Damien Hyatt at his near post. The former teammates coming face to face, and Deacon winning this duel with Damien Hyatt for 2-0. Arnett Gardens up and running, booked for his celebration, but he won't mind that. Then Nicole Christian very late in the game, mix up in the box, and Tafaroy Bygrave, ace marksman, sweeping home what was to be a late consolation for the boys in blue. It will be a quiet ride, you imagine, back to St. Catherine for Dunbeholden, after the players are showered and changed and are heading home from the Drax Hall Sports Complex. Critical numbers: 10 shots on target, 6 by Arnett Gardens. There were 11 fouls, 6 committed by the Junglists, 6 yellow cards, 4 for Arnett Gardens players, 2 offsides, 1 apiece, 7 corners, 5 to Arnett Gardens, and Arnett Gardens had 54% possession. Chris Taylor is downstairs to do the interviews.
How does it feel to score the first goal of your career?
Great. Coming in back in the league, I was out for 6 matches. It's a great feeling.
And Arnett Gardens getting the 3 points.
It's a great feeling coming in back in the team with the 3 points. It's a great feeling.
All right, congratulations on your performance. Enjoy your goal.
Thank you.
Luca Kong, player of the match for Arnett Gardens, coming on as a substitute and really doing well. I'm going to be joined now by Ricardo Smith, the assistant coach of Dunbeholden. And as Ricardo gets the mic sorted out. Ricardo, I can see the disappointment on your face, not necessarily the kind of performance you would have been expecting from the boys.
No. It's ridiculous how we played today. You know, you're leaving off a game that you played fairly well and come with this performance. We can't accept that.
And you would have had the better of the first. You would have had the better play in the first half, but the second half, things just went flat for you.
Yeah, in the changing room at halftime, I told them, you know, this is what we do all the time. We play around with teams, and when they score 1 goal on us, we fight to try and get back, and then we concede another, which is not good. The performance was really poor.
Do you feel that you took just a little bit too long to bring on Bygrave?
No, not necessarily, because we were assessing the game and we had control of the game at the time, and we didn't think we needed him. We need him, but not at that moment. So the change for us after the goal, we conceded the goal. We felt that was the right time to bring him on.
All right, Ricardo, all the best for next week.
Yeah, man, thanks.
Ricardo Smith, their assistant coach of Dunbeholden. Paul Teagat Davis now joins me. Teagat, the boys made you seem like a genius on the field because your 3 changes, 2 goals from them and an assist.
I'm just a coach, you know. Yeah, and you see, that's their job. That's their job, you know. We had a poor first half. Very poor first half. So, you know, this change can bring a little light in the game. You know, we still need to be more consistent in terms of, you know, giving up these goals in the last 5 minutes. You guys said last week it's a trend, but it's not really a trend. But we have to stop this, you know.
All right, well, congratulations on your 3 points. Enjoy the win, safe travels, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, man, thanks.
Right, so 3 goals in the game, 2-2 Arnett Gardens. They beat Dunbeholden 2-1 in this JPL game, powered by Digicel and the Drax Hall Sports Complex. So the opening game of the doubleheader today at this venue. More as we get ready for our second encounter after this.